My name is Matthew Piepenbrock. I run the day-to-day operations here at the Morean Art Center's Hot Shop and Glass Studio. I think a lot of people come into the glass studio with a predetermined or predisposed idea of what glass is and how glass works. For most of us, glass is that thing that's in our kitchen, or it's in our windows, or you see something on YouTube. When you're still looking at things on videos, you don't get the full experience of that. Here at the Glass Studio and the Hot Shop here, we give you the full experience.
Keep it at the same angle. That'll keep it really nice and even for you.
Ours is a public space where people can come during the day, virtually any day of the week, year-round, and watch glass blowing.
And now we're going to come over here to our table.
It's a challenging material to think about how to work with, but it's exciting because you've got the flame, you've got working with all the tools, and
It's hot when you walk into the Hot Shop.
I think really people enjoy the challenge of it.
To be honest, I started working with glass from a small age, and that had come down to just breaking glass and then reassembling it and putting it all back together.
Matt is from the University of Wisconsin series of colleges, which was the first college to offer glass blowing in the United States.
From there, I ended up with 3 degrees in glass.
When we interviewed him for the job, it was just an amazing, perfect fit for what we were looking for.
To describe the Hot Shop is basically where glass is made and glass is formed. So for us here at the Hot Shop, we basically start from the raw material of what glass is. Glass is made out of silica dioxide. A lot of people think it's made from sand. That stone or quartz is then pulverized and then bagged up for us. We run our temperature up to about 2,300 degrees, and over the course of 18 to 24 hours, we melt that down in what we call our furnaces, or Puff the Magic Dragon, or Toothless. So those dragons are fed in the evening, and when it's done, we have basically a molten pot of 400 pounds of glass. So it's a lot like working from a volcano. There's a lot of different aspects of the glass world that most people don't ever get to see. And when they see glass, they see this kind of stuff that's happening behind me. This is hot, it's exciting, there's fire, there's clinking, there's loud noises.
Most people don't know that once you're done blowing the piece and you put it into the annealer, the cooling oven, that's not the end of making the piece. There is a whole other process called cold working. That whole process can take several hours in addition to actually first making the piece in the hot shop side of the glass studio. Most people don't get to see that side of it, and they have no idea how much additional work goes into the piece.
I think one of the most exciting things is actually see hot glass being worked. But that's only a small portion of what it is to make a glass object. There's a lot of things that we can do to that glass after it is already cooled down, whether it's grinding, cutting, and polishing, slumping, fusing, enameling. There's a lot of different aspects of the glass world that most people don't ever get to see. So here in the cold working room, a couple things happen. This is where our first inspection happens, whether or not we know if our piece can make it to our retail or gallery floor. So the glass making process is not perfect. So sometimes we'll end up with like a crack. Sometimes we can fix those, sometimes we can't. So obviously like a piece like this actually becomes what we call frit. We'll crush this back down and reuse the purple and or patterns. Other times it has a lot to do with like rough edges. If there's a rough edge on a piece, say this piece has a rough edge here, you may or may not cut yourself with that. So we'll go through a couple of processes of cutting and polishing those edges so that they don't hurt you. Everything here is water fed. If we cut and grind on glass and there's no water, invariably that's going to get hot and that's going to cause that glass to break. Over here is what we call a lapidary. This is nothing more than a large diamond pad. The diamonds are sintered into the metal surface and allows us to kind of grind at different grit surfaces. This is what we call our warm working room. Basically what happens in here is we can take our cold glass. We have a couple stages here. These are some pieces that didn't quite make it. You'll notice there's some cracks inside there. That does not mean that this glass for us is finished. You'll notice that this is a very elaborate and just kind of gorgeous piece of glass. We can use that glass and break it back up to kind of create different patterns that we'll reuse in other pieces, or we can reuse that glass in our slumping and fusing, and that kind of happens over here. So inside these kilns, they basically take glass from room temperature, we'll bring them up to 1550 or so and kind of melt them down. In the back over here, we have some architectural panels that we've been working on, whether that's taking patterned glass and making these panels. The nice thing with the warm glass is it allows us to manipulate those layers.
This has something like 7 different layers. So on each one of those different layers, we can have a different color, a different pattern. So the intricacy that you can get in the kilns is beyond what you can do in the hot shop floor. So once the piece has been ground and flattened and inspected, then it's ready to go out on the gallery floor. And then it's ready for display.
I think what makes the glass studio here at the Morean Art Center unique is the intimacy of how we present our glass and the ability for the common person to come in and work with that glass. Right behind me, we're doing what we call the experience. Basically, you work directly with one of our artists. For some people, that's a step up into becoming a glass artist.
The personal glass experiences, for many people, inevitably lead to taking classes in glass blowing. Actually, one of our glass blowers started by just coming to watch demonstrations.
If you look behind me, this is Edelweiss Walker. She started like everyone else, walked in to see a demonstration.
Fell in love with glass. As soon as the first class was over, I signed up for the next 6-week course.
3 years later, she's now helping out on the hot shop floor. She went from customer to student to assistant, and now she's one of our working artists.
So my role here now at the Morean Art Center, I am one of the gaffers on staff. I am one of the demonstration artists. I'm also one of the teachers now. All right, Walter, here we go. I'm gonna bring it over. We're gonna get it turning. Find that line first. Yep, hold in that line, a little squeeze. This hand is gonna help turn the pipe. If you use your palm to push down on the pipe, it helps you turn more. If it gets off center, we just pause and get it on. Follow with that tool in the middle of the tool and squeeze down. A little bit squeeze. We want to narrow that area. There we go. That's looking good. That's going to become the bottom of your piece. You get to play with this molten media that goes from a liquid form and ends up freezing all in this short amount of time. You can manipulate that glass, you can pull it, you can shape it as long as you have that heated and turn it into whatever you want to make it into. So what I would tell people that are interested in trying glass, come up here and try it. We offer classes. We offer an experience where you can come up and try glass blowing.
We'd love to have you come down to the Morean Art Center and especially come to see us at the Morean Glass Studio. We have really exciting demonstrations in glass blowing and glass making. They tell you how they do it and you walk through the process, and it really is an amazing thing to see it happen in a fun way to engage here.
You can find us at themoreanartcenter.org. From there you can sign up for classes or experiences, and not just only in glass, but ceramics, painting, photo, collage. There's a lot of things that we offer. You can also go online and get tickets to the Chihuly Collection. If you want to see something gorgeous that's made out of glass, that's one of the things. I think if you were to just say Dale Chihuly, most people know who he is because of how famous he really is or how well known he is. I think having Dale's work connected to our glass studio in a way gives it a sense of legitimacy. For people to see something like that and have the ability to come down and see us make that gives them a greater appreciation not only for Dale's work, but for the work that we do ourselves.